Okay, well, I think I'm live. Welcome, everybody. My name is Lily Badcock, if you don't know. I think it even says it down below. How do I point? This way. Oh, it's so confusing. It's all opposite. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is so exciting. So if you're already a fan of the podcast, the Confidence Academy podcast, you'll be used to hearing my voice. You may not be so used to seeing my face. This week, I've decided to wear some makeup just for you. It's definitely not going to happen every week, but I thought, first week, why not? And the background is completely giving away the shit show that I sit in every time I record a podcast interview. So you're getting to see my environment. But you know what? A huge part of my message is that it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, you're not supposed to be sat in an ivory tower or, have everything. You're not supposed to have all your shit together. That was never the plan. So I'm almost disappointed in myself for putting makeup on, because I wouldn't even bother with that most of the time. But I felt in the mood, and so there we go. So this is a brand new segment on the podcast. It's going to be going out weekly, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Hence why we're here right now. And each week, I just thought it would be a really great way of getting you, the listeners, involved in the show. Also, I'm inundated now with people that want to be featured on the podcast, and there are only so many episodes I can put out of full interviews. And I thought this would be another great way of getting people featured on the podcast who might not be able to do a full interview. What you are going to find, though, is a lot of people do both. Because so far, everyone that I've told about this has gone, oh, I want to do the live show and an interview as well. So anyway, I can see that people are clicking on and off. I think with this program, I'm using StreamYard, as you can see up here in the corner, powered by StreamYard. That means that I can't see who's commenting, but you can leave me comments. And I imagine you can leave me a comment and just let me know if you're watching this on replay as well. So this is currently going out on YouTube, and I've just reminded myself that I also wanted to go out on Instagram. So we're going to just do that right now, and then we're going to get started. So I might just have to do a little spiel for the Instagrammers as well. I'll make it a little less drawn out than that one just was. Okay, let's just see if we're rocking and rolling. Yes, we are. We are live. Hello, Instagram. Welcome to the party. I've been live on YouTube for a couple of minutes already, but you are listening to the Confidence Academy podcast. This is the brand new live weekly segment. Hello, Nicole. That's going to be going out every Thursday, 8 p.m. I'm toying with how this works. So right now, I'm over here on YouTube and I'm over here on Instagram. So hello to everybody. And these replays are going to be going out on Facebook as well. And eventually, I think I can probably stream to Facebook at the same time. Get me. Hi, Jem. Oh, this is exciting. See, on Instagram, I can see who's watching. On here, I have no idea. So leave me, I think actually, if you're watching me on the YouTube link, there may be a link that you can click to go via StreamYard, so that then your name shows up, if you're bothered by it, if you care. If not, you can just type your name in the comments if you want me to know who you are. So each week I'm going to be here 8 p.m. on a Thursday with a question that I'm going to put to whoever's listening. And the really exciting thing is that I have also got a feature now where you can voice note me, and I can play the voice note live on air. Now, for this week, hi, Penelope, hey. For this week, I can only share that with the YouTubers. So towards the end, I'm going to have to come off Instagram because I need my phone to play the messages. I've got my phone here, I've got my iPad here. In fact, I wonder, I might be able to play it from my desktop. If I can do it from my laptop, then Instagram, you can get involved as well. But it's a really easy link. Hello, I can see you're watching on YouTube, but I can't see who you are. Leave me a comment if you want to say hey. So what was I saying? I don't know. Who bloody knows? Each week there's going to be a question that I am posing to my listeners, to anybody that's watching. And I just want to have a conversation. Now, I joined the prolific, is that the right word? Brand new app called Clubhouse this week. It's an audio social media platform. Super, super, super exciting. If you're lucky enough to be on it, because it's just in beta test at the moment, not everyone can get in. If you're lucky enough to know somebody with an invite, though, then you can get in. So if you're on Clubhouse and you want to follow me, it's just at lillibadcock. That's my name, right there. Instagram, you don't have my name. Well, maybe you do. Is it up there, down there? I don't know. At lillibadcock is how you find me. I'm going to be hosting rooms in there each week as well. I think probably on a Monday night at 8, but to be honest, I just keep going on there because I love it. So I could pop up at any point. For those of you who don't know, you're following me. Awesome. I'm following you too, Penelope. So for those of you that don't know, Clubhouse is a brand new, I got it, Pen, it's fine. Clubhouse is a brand new audio platform. And hi, Jalen. And it's so cool because you have these rooms. It's a little bit like a virtual conference, and you walk down a virtual corridor. You go into whatever room you want. There's people in there like Grant Cardone is in there. Gary Vee is on there. If you don't know who these people are, that's fine. There are some, I think Jared Leto is on there. There's a few celebs. And it's all audio. So no one can see you. You just chat. And I've been on it all this week. I don't even want to know how many hours I've spent in Clubhouse this week, but it's brilliant for networking. And it's great because you just have a conversation. I think it's taken away the potential for people to be twats because, on social media, you can get comments from twats who want to be mean. I just don't see that that's going to happen as much on Clubhouse because you're talking to real people and you can hear that you're talking to real people because it's real voices. So if you're not already on Clubhouse and you're interested, go check it out. If you are on there and you want to follow me at lillibadcock and we can hang out in a room together. Now, later down the line, I'm going to be combining that with this podcast and I'm going to be hosting rooms after podcast episodes. So you can actually come and hang out with me virtually in Clubhouse, potentially with my guests as well. We can just all carry on the conversation. Super exciting. Now then, the question, drum roll, for this week is one that I posed in Clubhouse earlier this week. So I do have some things to share already, but I would love to know, if you're watching me live, I would love to know your thoughts on this question. And the question is this. Do you think that there is a direct correlation between mental health issues like anxiety, stress, depression, etc., and spiritual awakening? Penelope, yes, we can do that. Yes, please. We can co-host, Pen. We can co-host a room. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Do you think there is a direct correlation between mental health issues like anxiety and depression and spiritual awakening? Now, I'm going to give you my take and the reason why I asked this question, but I don't want you to feel like you can only speak if you agree with me. I want this to be a conversation because do you know what? Mental health has such a stigma around it. And I think there's a massive void in the middle because there are people that get it because they live with it. And then there are people that don't understand because they don't have to live with it. I also think there are a large number of people that have mental health issues that have maybe not even considered that. Now, there are going to be people that are like, absolutely not. Mental health is a medical issue. It's a chemical imbalance in the brain. It can only be helped with medication, right? There are going to be people in that camp. But let me give you my take. Thank you, Penelope. Penelope says, oh, that's a good question. It's a very good question. My hope by asking these questions is that I might just expand your mind a little bit so that if you're struggling and if you feel like you've tried everything and it hasn't worked, maybe something will be said on one of these episodes that causes you to then check something out that might end up being the thing that gives you your breakthrough. Let me see. What does Penelope say? Penelope says, my mental health was crap just before I had mine. I hadn't really tied the two together. I thought it was the ex-narcissist. Now then, okay, let me give you my take. By the way, this is live Q&A as well, and it can be live coaching. If anybody's got a question for me, if you're struggling with something relative to the topic or not, like let's just hang out, whatever. I'm going to try and go for about an hour. I could still be here 6 hours from now. Who knows? So Penelope, I want to pick up on that because Penelope said, I thought it was the ex-narcissist. Now, Absolutely, right. I think there are multiple reasons why somebody might be having a mental health issue, right? It could be the chemical imbalance in the brain. I know there are people that are just born and they just grow up anxious, right? Or they have that depression. I've even interviewed people on the podcast who, like one lady, what was her name? I want to say Victoria Crossman, a really early on episode, so you'd have to go right back to find it. She was self-harming at the age of 7, right? So for sure, there are people that are almost born with that mental health issue or are prone to those symptoms, right? Then there are people who suffer from a mental health issue as a result of something physically happening, right? So like Penelope just said, I thought it was the ex-narcissist. It's very possible that it was, right? There are circumstances in your life, and I think that's the bracket I fall into. I certainly haven't always been anxious, but after I had my 2 kids, first of all, oh my God, I just saw 1111 and then 1. Angel numbers! For those of you that know what that means, if you don't know what that means, you think I'm nuts, you're not wrong. But I would fall into that bracket because I had my 2 boys and I was definitely in the mindset of having babies isn't going to change my life. It's not going to be any different. I'm just going to crack on. And crack on is what I tried to do. And I ended up burning out, basically. I was almost trying to ignore the fact that my life had massively changed. I don't know why. I don't know if I thought I was going to get a badge of honor or some sort of certificate or something. I did not get a certificate. There was no certificate. There was no badge. There was no trophy, nothing. Just a whole shit ton of anxiety. Sari's on. Hey, Sari. By the way, if anybody wants to join me live on camera, I can invite you on. I don't know if I can do it on the hop, but if anybody wants to give it a go, not Penelope, because you're in the bath. It's not that kind of show. But if anybody wants to come on to have this convo, this is what we can do each week. So this is the first one. So it's going to be a little bit kind of cobbled together. But each week I'm going to let you know what the topic is. If you want to come on and do a split screen with me, you can do it. And it doesn't matter if you're giving advice, if you're asking a question, if you're asking for advice, doesn't matter. If you want to be on, you can be on. Exciting. So yeah, I fall into that bracket because after having my children, that definitely affected me. And that was just because I think I was burdening myself with so much. I was burning out basically, but I didn't know that. But at the same time, I was dealing with some pretty traumatic stuff as well. And it all culminated and I think ended up with this anxiety, right? So definitely physical kind of, human level things were happening that fueled that. And then I know that, there are people that feel like their anxiety or depression has always been part of their life, and there are people that feel like it stemmed from something. Here's what I think though. My experience with anxiety, I'm trying very hard not to say my anxiety because I don't own it. But my experience with anxiety has eventually led to me having a massive spiritual awakening. And the truth is, I wouldn't be doing anything that I'm doing now had I not gone through that. And to just go back to what Penelope said about, I thought it was the narcissist, and she said some other stuff as well, which I'm just going to read out in a second. I believe that we are spiritual souls having a human experience. And so therefore it would make sense to me that in order for us to get back on path, we are handed a human experience that wakes us up. Does that make sense? This is just my belief, right? I believe, in fact, I feel like I know that we are spiritual souls. We're balls of energy in human vessels, and we are here for a purpose, every single one of us, right? If you've listened to the podcast, you'll have heard me say that 5 bajillion times and probably more. We are all here for a purpose. I also believe that we're not alone. I believe we're constantly being guided, and whatever it is that's guiding us, I believe has the power to serve up a human experience that has the power to wake us up if that's what we need, right? I had my spiritual awakening in 2018, but it's multi-layered. I think there were definitely experiences of awakening prior to that. But that was the big whammy one, right? I had, well, I woke up struggling, right? I woke up with massive anxiety this one day. And so I hit my journal, and rather than doing half an hour or an hour, I hit the journal for like, I think it was 2 hours, maybe even more. I was pregnant with Sophia at the time. The boys were at school. I was all on my own, journaled God knows what out of me, then felt compelled to take a shower. And while I was having that shower, I received this message that I'm here for the people that are waking up to purpose. And then I was led to understand that the reason I can sing is because that is how I speak to the humans, right? That is what gets people's attention. I feel now that that's even evolved, and it isn't just singing, it's my voice. So now through the podcast, for example, people hear me speak on the podcast, and it's because it's time to wake up. I believe if you've been called into my energy, if you're listening to this podcast, definitely, if you've been led here, if you don't really know why you're here, but you found your way here somehow, I just think that's for a reason, right? And I was given that message. I was also given the message that I'm not the only one. There's a whole team of us. So by the way, if you're watching or listening and you're like, yeah, that feels like my mission, 100%, absolutely. We're part of a collective, right? This isn't just me. And this is this paradigm shift that we're coming into now. I think for the last 10 or 15, maybe even 20 years, we've been in a paradigm where there's been a guru, like a Tony Robbins type character or an Oprah type character or whoever, a guru at the top, and then everyone else has been sitting and listening and learning. And I think that's brilliant and great. And I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for people like Tony Robbins. So that's brilliant. I think now, though, we're moving into a paradigm of collaboration. This is no longer about one person speaking and everybody else listening. This is about everybody waking up to their own power, everybody realizing that they are here for a reason. They have a mission to fulfill. There is a purpose to them being here on earth, right? I feel like I've massively tangented. Is that a word? Let me read Penelope's comments so that I don't get overwhelmed. Okie dokie. Let me go all the way back. Okay, so let's start here. Penelope says, my mental health was crap just before I had mine, as in spiritual awakening, and I hadn't really tied the two together. Right. And so this is the thing. I feel like even if it feels like there's a very like non-woo-woo reason why you had your spiritual awakening or why you had your mental health issue, to me, that's just how this whole thing works, right? Our lessons are delivered through our biggest challenges. Okay, let me carry on. I thought it was the ex-narcissist. Well, yeah, I think it was. But then what drew that ex-narcissist in? What was the reason? Why did you have that experience? I believe you had that experience because it's absolutely rooted in the work. I bet, Penelope, that the work you're doing now is more powerful because you had that experience. Tell me if I'm wrong. I noticed when my mental health is bad, I drink more. Yeah. So I think that we definitely escape. And for some people, it's drink. For some people, it's eating. Like when mine's bad, I was going to say when mine's bad, I eat shit. But to be honest, I eat shit most of the time. But we definitely find ways to escape. Let me just go back on what I just said. I do eat shit all the time. However, when I'm not struggling mentally, I find it easier to get out for a run or to go for a walk or to work out. I can tell when I'm struggling because I don't want to do any of those things. In fact, full disclosure, I don't even want to shower when I'm in a bad way. That's just the way it is. When I'm more whole, I don't drink at all. Yeah. Because we're looking for something to fill the void. And the thing is, what we're supposed to recognize is, oh no, I don't want to end my live stream. Sorry, push the wrong button at Instagram. Are you still with me? Yes, you are. What I want us to recognize is that the void we're trying to fill is never going to be filled by anything that's outside of us. We fill the void. The void is not even the void. The void is a misperception. So it's not about filling the void with anything. It's about recognizing that the void doesn't even exist. You are a whole person because you are. You're worthy because you are. You're already enough. And I know that's a cliche, but it's so true. Okay. Penelope says, I have clients who are around 7 or 8 who come to me for anxiety treatment. Yeah, exactly. The anxiety, depression, it affects people of all ages. I still believe that your greatest struggles are where your biggest spiritual lessons lie. And I believe that with the right guidance, you can work your way through those things. It's not about overcoming them forever. Like, I'm not completely anxiety free 100% of the time, but I'm no longer afraid of the anxiety. Now, when the anxiety shows up, I honor it. I recognize that there's something I need to pay attention to. So I stop and I listen and I give myself what I need. And I don't fear it. I don't tell myself shitty stories that, oh, this must mean X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. That's what's changed, right? So it's not that the anxiety stopped coming. I stopped being afraid of it. That was the shift. My kids cracked me open for sure. My God, kids are like the biggest walking, talking lessons ever. Hello, Jackie. Welcome. Penelope says, I have postnatal depression, I think due to hormone imbalance. Of course, right? And there are definitely factors like that as well. I still believe, though, that I'm going to keep saying it, our biggest challenges, they're not for nothing, right? If you could, right, everyone do this for me right now. Think of the biggest challenge you're having right now. The thing that's keeping you up at night, the thing that's pissing you off, worrying you, draining your energy. Think about that thing. And then ask yourself, what if this is my entire purpose? Like, what if I'm going through this so that I can become the person I was always meant to become? Just what if? It doesn't matter if you believe that's true or not. Ask yourself the question and see what pops into your head after asking it. I think there is something to do with us moving up through the energy of higher chakras too as you get older. So Penelope's talking about chakras. I am not a chakra expert at all. I think if I work around any chakra, it's the throat chakra, because I help people release their voice, right? But I'm not an expert on chakras. So Penelope, if you want to tell us more, please do. Solar plexus energy equals anxiety. That is interesting. So let me read that again. I think there is something to do with us moving up through the energy of higher chakras as you get older. That is interesting. So chakras aligned. If you go and look at a graphic, there are chakras like right in the base of your spine, and then they go up through the body. So Penelope is saying that she thinks there's something to do with us moving through the energy of higher chakras as we get older. Your voice is your message. Yes, it is. And it's not just mine. Like, we all have something, right? And it might not be your voice for you. I actually think, just to go on this tangent for a minute, if you're led to use your voice in any way, whether it's for singing or speaking or acting or anything like that, then I believe that's your gift and that should be honed. But if you're sat there going, oh, I hate singing isn't your thing, but there'll be a thing. There'll be something that is your thing. You're in the energy of your throat chakra, speaking your truth. Yeah, absolutely. And so this is all chakra stuff as well. That first time I learned about chakras was when I went for a yoga session. Shout out to Claire at Brave Fish Yoga. And I told her that I kept losing my voice. And she said, oh, have you thought about if there's anywhere in your life where you're not speaking your truth? Is there anything you're not showing up for that you should be showing up for? Is there anything? And so, by the way, here's my understanding of it. Speaking your truth doesn't mean you just go around like honestly telling everyone what you think of them. It might be that, right? But for me, it's not even about the physical speech. It's about how you're showing up. And at the time, I was living a life that was not mine. I was trying to convince myself that I was happy with what I'd got, because I knew that being grateful is a good thing. And I was trying to be grateful for my opportunities. And that's fine, but you still get to fulfill everything you're supposed to fulfill, right? So if there's something you're supposed to be doing, and it might be job related, it might be a relationship related thing, like there might be someone that you're supposed to be with, or someone you're not supposed to be with. Maybe a friend has done something to you and you're harboring feelings around that and you're not able to say how you feel. Anything like that is going to show up in the throat chakra. In other words, you'll lose your physical voice because you've lost your ability to say how you feel and to show up for what you want. Penelope says, I'm on day 4 of my life purpose challenge today. Okay, I think you mean that you're hosting. It's so great to see people's transformation even after 4 days. Oh my God, like transformations can happen in an instant. There might even be someone that's already shifted right now just because of something that's been said on this podcast. That's what I love about it. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I hadn't gone through all of that. Absolutely. And yeah, so Penelope's saying you go through 7-year cycles. So I've heard of this. I've heard of there being this entire like 7-year cycle that comes to a close. And I think I had an astrology reading late last year, and I'm pretty sure she said that one of my cycles had just finished. So it's exciting because I'm definitely done with that cycle. So Penelope's explaining more about chakras. So Penelope says you start off with the root chakra until age 7. By the way, Penelope has been a guest on the podcast previously, again, eons ago, a couple of years ago. So you can go back and check out her episode. She's going to be coming on live. Did we decide next Thursday, Pen? She's going to be on live with me next Thursday in this show. And we are going to record a new episode tomorrow that's going to be out on Monday. So we'll probably have to dig into this more then. But Penelope says you start off with the root chakra until age 7. Sacral chakra, is that how you say it, until you're 14. The solar plexus during teenage years. Hi, Danielle. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, and that's as far as we got, because then we started talking about what the yoga teacher said. So yeah, we will definitely. Hi, guided by Geeta. Welcome. We will dig more into chakras, I think, Penelope, in our interview tomorrow, and that's coming up Monday, you guys, for everyone watching. So for those of you just joining me now, the question is, do you think there is a direct link between mental health issues and spiritual awakening? I happen to believe, hell yes. I think they're so intrinsically linked. I think they're so intrinsically linked. I can't even say that word, because that's my personal experience, right? And this is the thing. This is exactly what I was saying before. I think there's a paradigm shift. This is not me sat on a live stream / podcast saying, this is the way and everybody must follow the way. I'm sat here going, guess what, guys? I'm a human. I've had some experiences. This is what I've taken from that. You look at your experiences and tell me what you've taken from that. Guided by Geeta is going, oh, yes. Just like that. So that's the thing, right? It's not about me or anyone else claiming to know the answers. Nobody knows the answers. If somebody tells you that they know the answers, they're full of shit. Nobody knows, right? It's about belief. I believe it's about tapping into what you truly think, what feels right to you. You know, whenever I read anything or watch anything that is absolute truth for me, I can feel it in my body. And it's not, it almost isn't like somebody giving me new information. It's like a whole body and soul recognition of what's true. And that's my truth. There is no truth. There's your truth and there's my truth. You are going to step into your power when you start paying attention to what's true for you. That's my opinion anyway. So that is the question. Now, if you're watching this on replay, I would still love to hear what you have to say. And as I said, there is now a new feature where you can voice note me. So if you're on Instagram, I haven't added it yet to my bio link, but I'm going to do it after I finish tonight. Added to the bio link is going to be a button you can press and it will send me a voice note. So you can, it's 90 seconds. So you have to get it into 90 seconds, but you can send me a question. You can send me a comment. It can be about this or anything else on the podcast or just anything you think in life, really. I just like having conversations. Danielle says, great question. I haven't really considered it, but I can see how that could be true for the average person. I'm not sure how I feel about for those with serious mental health issues. This is the thing, right? It is my experience. And I would certainly not put myself in the category of someone that had serious mental health issues. It obviously felt serious at the time because I was having panic attacks, etc. There are all kinds of humans in the world. with all kinds of experiences, all kinds of challenges. I will say, though, that there are miracles happening in the world every single day. And there are some remarkable stories of people that were in seemingly impossible situations that have turned it around somehow, right? So I completely get what you're saying, Danielle, because mental health is just such a huge umbrella, isn't it? I don't think you could ever make a comment and go, that's it. It's like I was saying just a minute ago, right? There's no way that I'm going to go around saying, oh, if you've got a mental health issue, it's okay because you're just spiritually awakening. Don't worry about it, right? Because that's not the case. Here's what I think, right? I already said every single person is here for a purpose. Every single person is here with a mission. Not everybody is going to be consciously aware that that's what it is. I believe some souls come here with a burden or with a challenge that affects everybody around them, and maybe that's their spiritual path. Does that make sense? I was having this conversation, it's probably in Clubhouse this week, with someone. Oh no, what was it? No, it wasn't. It was this week's podcast episode. If you haven't listened to it yet, it's with the beautiful Eva, and I don't say her surname because I just can't pronounce it the correct way, and I don't like mispronouncing people's names. But if you listen to the episode, you'll hear her pronounce it, and it's a beautiful name. Eva is a cancer survivor. Eva came home from work one day, collapsed in pain, ended up in a hospital within hours, diagnosed with cancer that then got worse and worse and worse. She was told it had gone to her lungs, I think it was. It was serious. She was told, like, that there's nothing we can do. Ellie, mwah, how are you, gorgeous girl? And here's the brilliant thing. I don't want to give the whole episode away, but I will just tell you this. So in the moment that Eva was given that medical document that told her your cancer is everywhere, and, we don't know if we can do anything for you, she said a prayer in that moment, and she basically had a chat with God, and she was like, do you know what? If I'm supposed to go, if this is my time, I'll go. I'll go, right? But I'd really, really love it if I didn't have to. So if there's any possible way that I could get to stay, please let me go. You go and enjoy your yoga, Penelope, no problem. She was like, if there's any way I could stay, please let me stay. Within a week, I think it was within a week or a couple of weeks, she got another medical paper. The next time they checked her, all of the cancer had gone. Thank you, Penelope. All of the cancer had gone. It is an absolute miracle. She then founded something called Global Cancer Solutions, I think it is, .com. And she now helps people with cancer. But she wrote a book, but it's not about her saying, if you've got cancer, don't worry, I can get rid of it for you. That's not her message. Her message is, you're on a path, and I'm going to give you the strength to walk down your path, whatever that looks like. And I think that's so aligned with the work that I do as well. There's so many people that I work with who are in resistance to the life they've been living, especially if it's changed somewhere along the way, like people that have suddenly had an accident or suddenly developed an illness or suddenly experienced a loss or, some kind of relationship shift or something like that. There's a lot of resistance. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of, I wish this hadn't happened. I want my old life back. And there's a lot of regret, and they're feeling like they've been robbed. And I believe it's my job to say, you haven't been robbed. This is the path, right? Find your strength, find your mission, find your purpose from where you're at now. It's not about, I was on purpose back when I was that person, but now this thing's happened, I'm not of purpose anymore. If you're living and breathing on planet Earth, you still have a purpose and there's still a reason. But the thing that Eva shared, the point I was making, was she said, when you receive a diagnosis like cancer or any big challenge in your life, it doesn't just affect you. It has the power to transform everybody around you. And the thing I loved about that was she said, it's transforming everyone around you. It's not adversely affecting them and taking them down a dark path. It's transforming every single person. And I so believe that. And so to come back to Danielle's point that, you know, there are some people who are severely mentally disabled almost, or not even almost, but severely mentally or physically disabled, then yeah, they will possibly never get to the point where they go, oh, now I'm spiritually awake, I don't suffer like that anymore. But I can absolutely guarantee that they are transforming the lives of the people who take care of them and look after them and watch them grow through their life. And that's what I think this is. I think that we're souls and we come and go, and we all have a purpose, and it looks different for all of us. And for some of us, it's a conscious purpose, which is how I feel it is for me. For other people, it's almost subconscious. They just are that person. So that's my take on it. I'd be really interested to hear from anyone that has a differing point of view. So like I said, if you're watching this on the replay, still comment. I think if you on Instagram, if you put a hashtag replay, then I'll be notified. YouTube, who already knows? This is the first time I've done it, but try it anyway. I mean, if you comment below the video, then I'll definitely see it. I'll keep coming back and checking. And of course, you can come on to another episode. I'm going to be here at 8 p.m. every single Thursday having these amazing conversations. You can come on another week. We can come back to this conversation. It's my show. I can do what I want, right? So we can just talk about whatever we want. So is there anyone that's on with me live right now that has any questions for me? Anything else they want to share based on that topic, or based on the topic of mental health, confidence, spiritual awakening? For those of you who don't know me, that in a nutshell is everything that I cover. So this whole podcast started as a resource for mental health sufferers, and it went through its own spiritual awakening as I did. So we've kind of spiritually evolved together. Guided by Gita says, spiritual awake people just, and it's a cliffhanger. Just what? Let's wait and see what the rest of that comment is. So yeah, I would love to know what you've thought of this episode. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, I'm hoping and praying that this is being saved. I'm almost 99% sure that it is. If it's not, then you guys just got to enjoy it. In fact, on Instagram, I can save it to Instagram TV, so it isn't all lost. But hopefully this is going out as a podcast episode as well. So if you're listening on the podcast, I would love to hear from you. I would love to know what you thought of this format. I would love to know, maybe you have a brilliant question that I can pose on a future episode. So let me know if that's true. And what else did I want to share? Oh, just a few things. So I mentioned at the top of the call, but I'll say it again. I am now on Clubhouse. You can find me at lillibadcock on Clubhouse. It is an audio-only social media platform. It's phenomenal. I'm hooked on it. It will suck hours out of your day. But in its defense, where I used to sit on Facebook or Instagram and scroll, I would do that and not do anything else. With Clubhouse, I plug in my headphones, I stick it in my pocket, and yesterday I tidied my entire house whilst having amazing conversations with people from all over the world. I mean, it's just mind-bogglingly brilliant. So if you're on Clubhouse, I would love to connect with you there. I'm going to be hosting some live rooms in there, which is just like this, but we can actually talk. It's not just all me, which I love, love, love. Something else as well, very exciting. I'm just testing a new piece of software which is going to enable me to have a private podcast feed. What that means is when you join my monthly membership, Evo Online, you will have access to the private podcast feed, and I can give you private episodes, private coaching that's only for members. So that's very exciting. If you're already a member, you can celebrate already. If you're not a member and you want to be, you can ask me about that. Follow the links in my bio if you're on Instagram. YouTube, I guess there'll be somewhere that I can post those links below this video. So have a look there, or just reach out to me, lillibadcock.com, and I will give you the further information for that. What else? What else? I think that might have been it, or probably not, but that will do for now. Let's have a look. So Danielle says, oh, so guided by Gita, I can now see the rest of the comment. It says, Spiritual awake people just navigate better. I get you. Yeah. Danielle says, my spiritual awakening was accelerated as I cared for my husband during a major depressive episode. Exactly my point, right? Exactly my point. He was suicidal at the time. The process fast-tracked development of my gifts. I didn't realize I had these gifts until they showed up suddenly. Oh my goodness. Danielle, I'd love to have you on the show to do a full convo around that. That sounds phenomenal. I really hope that your husband is okay. But what an amazing gift to find. And this is the thing, right? You can be in the darkest space. You can be in the darkest of moments. And there are still little golden nuggets that you can find. There's still hope, right? Miracles can still happen. Yeah, and Danielle says, I didn't realize I had these gifts until they showed up suddenly. I do believe, for me personally, it feels like there's some kind of higher force. And I want to say it's like a whole committee. It feels like a whole committee at times. There seems to be an entire guiding force that for the most part will just leave me to my own devices. But then if I start to look like I'm not really getting the memo, they'll just swoop in and give me an awakening. Danielle says, he's amazing, healed and off meds. Jesus, Danielle, thank the Lord. And that is so amazing. And do you know what, though? That is such a testament to you as well. Because our journeys, and this is, again, the thread of this conversation is coming back to the same thing. It's about collaboration, isn't it? Not one of us is supposed to do anything alone. Not one of us can attribute our successes just to us. We are successful because of us and everyone around us, or maybe not everyone, right? Or maybe, depending on your point of view. But Danielle, what a testament to you as well. I would be honoured to have you both on. If you wanted to come and share your full story, I would be honoured to have you on the show. That would be phenomenal. Just let me know if you'd like to do that. We can do it live like this, or we can just do one of the recorded audio podcasts. To anyone else that's watching, if you have a phenomenal story like Danielle's, it could be around overcoming a challenge. It could be about your own spiritual awakening. Maybe it's about both. Then reach out to me, lillibadcock.com. You can email lillibadcock@gmail.com, but I might be changing that because Gmail seems to be not coping at the moment with the amount of emails that I'm getting in. Yes, Danielle, I'll message you straight after this. Fab. But you guys reach out to me, or you could just DM me at this point, right? I'm not so big and famous that I can't reply to some DMs. So not in any way. So DM me on Instagram or Messenger if you have a story that you would like to share on the podcast. Like I said, we can do it live like this on one of the Thursdays, or if that doesn't work, there's obviously the audio interviews that go out every Monday as well. So I think I'm going to leave it there. Oh, no, I'm not going to leave it there. I was going to share these little messages I had. Now, let me see if I can do it from the computer. Bear with me. For those of you listening on the podcast, I'll probably edit this bit out because it's going to be very dull for you guys. But let me just see if I can access these audio clips. I just don't know how loud it's going to be. That's the only thing. But let's give it a go and see what we can do. I've got to say, there is nothing more exciting for me at the moment than receiving an email telling me that somebody's left me a voice note. So go to my bio when I update. I'm going to update it after this. Go to my bio, click the link there, tap below this video if you're on YouTube. If you're watching this on Facebook, there'll be a link under there for you as well. Go there, click the link. It's easy. You literally click the link. It will say, can I access your mic? You say yes. If you say no, it's not going to work. So you say yes. And then 90 seconds, you can just leave me a love note. You can leave me a message, right? And then I can play it on the show. If you don't want me to play it on the show, just tell me that. So I had 2 messages today from people that had something to share around this. Now, I just don't know how good the audio is going to be. What I'll probably do is upload these voice clips to the podcast. So if for those of you that are on live, if this doesn't work too well and you can't really hear, fear not, because I'll upload the actual audio into the episode. But let's just give it a try. I can translate if you can't hear it. So this first message was from a lady called Lee. We've connected previously. Lee actually gifted me a human design reading. I think it was 2 years ago now, which is fascinating. Again, not something I know masses about, but it was absolutely fascinating. And I've asked Lee if she'll come on the podcast, actually, because she now does something called light language. Now, if you haven't heard of light language, I don't know much about it at all, except that it's some form of channeled, it's singing or vocalizing, and it's channeled. It's like channeled from something mystical. That's all I can tell you about it. So this is Lee. She's called Lady Lee Sings, and this is her message. I'm praying that you can hear this. Let's give it a go.
Hello, Lily. This is Lee. Remember I did human design reading almost 2 years ago, I think, for you. On the topic of mental health and spiritual awakening, there is lots in human design, but most importantly, what is there is to show people where they are being influenced and maybe even manipulated for whatever reason. Mostly it's well intended. It's just parents giving their being influenced to their children. However, sometimes it's also playing tennis from the outside, but it doesn't really matter. When you see where you can be influenced, where you can be manipulated, and where your intuition is strong, you get so much power. It powers you up so that you can basically start trusting your intuition. And that, the moment you start trusting and the moment you start realizing you have been manipulated, and it is your not self, you can show the road, you can show yourself your spiritual genius. Much love. Bye.
There we go. So that was Lady Lee. Now, if you couldn't hear that very well, the speakers on my old laptop are shot and shit. So if you couldn't hear that very well, basically what she was saying was there is an element of manipulation. Now, manipulation is quite a loaded word. So if you don't like the word manipulation, you could swap that out for something else. But basically what she's saying is most of us grow up and we're influenced by the people around us. So like parents, friends, teachers, like whatever it might be. And it's not necessarily from menace. Like they're not trying to be harsh to us or do anything that's negative, but it's their beliefs that then get passed off onto us. And what Lady Lee was sharing was that when you start to realize that you have your own mind, you have your own ability to check in and say, does that feel true? It's a bit like I was saying earlier. That is truly when you step into your power. And so thank you, Lee, for that voice note. It was very exciting to receive. And then I did get one other from Mia or Maya. I think Mia, but I'm not certain of that pronunciation. So apologies if I've got that wrong. Those of you on YouTube, I'm just showing you my ceiling so that I can look at my emails, so that I can call up Mia's message as well. Here it is. Again, I don't know how good this audio quality will be, but let's give it a go. If you want to leave me a message for a future episode, go to the link in my bio, click that. Not right away because it's not there, but like give it an hour or so and it'll be there, and click below the video if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. So this is Mia. Oh yeah, no, that's too quiet. I wonder why that one isn't showing up so well. I'm still on, babe. Thank you.
Can you tell Freddie how to flush the toilet?
Yeah, but not now. Shut my door, please. Thank you. Can I tell Freddie how to flush the toilet? I could. It would fall on deaf ears, though, I'm thinking. Yeah, so Mia, really sorry. Yours is not. It's not coming out very clearly. I think it's my laptop, though. I think it's the speakers. I will work on that audio and I will add it into the full episode when this goes out. If you want to leave me a message, I will work on how I can share that more clearly for next week. Like I said, this is all being cobbled together, but I feel like I did quite well. Let me know what you think. I feel like it went all right. It's very exciting. And I'm going to leave it there. Thank you to everyone who joined me live. Thank you to everyone who's watching on the replay. I'll be back live next Thursday at 8 p.m. Same place, YouTube, Instagram, and probably Facebook by then as well. We've got a brand new episode coming out on Monday. It's going to be with Penelope, who was on earlier, Penelope Silver. So tune in for that. And if you haven't already listened to this week's episode from Eva, who was the cancer survivor, my God, it's one of my most favorite conversations, if not the most favorite conversation I've ever had, not just on the podcast, but in my entire life. It was such a brilliant episode, even if I do say so myself. So go and check that out and let me know your thoughts. I'll be back again next week. Thank you for joining me. And remember, confidence is yours as soon as you choose it. Mwah.